Well, I'm starting to look into the crown molding today, and my friend Doug Molder took the dimensions for me and used his CAD software to create me two different profiles. He has one here without the dimensions on it, and then here's one with the dimensions on it. So what I did is cut myself some soft maple here, cut out his drawing, his full-size drawing there, and pasted it onto the end here. So we have 2.5 inches along this edge and 1 3/4 along the top edge. So that's the two side moldings, which would be about 17 inches plus the miter. So this is a 20-inch board. And the front molding, the scroll or the pediment, is made up of this 3/4 inch ogee that sits at the top. The rest of the front molding is from here down, so it's straight across. So this is 1 3/8 at that point by 1 3/4. So he's got the dimensions just absolutely perfect. So I pasted the pattern on the side here, and I'm deciding just how I'm going to go about making it. I think it probably will be easiest to do it out of hollows and rounds. This can be cut out, of course, with a dado, these two flats. And then this circle here, or part of a circle, it's 1 3/8, I think, radius. No, he's got, yeah, it is 1 3/8 radius. So that would be take an awfully big bit to do that, but I think I could put some steps in there and then cut it out with the rounds. The only one that I might use a machine on would be this little bead down here. I've got a bead that size, although I could scratch it too, I suppose. So I need two of these, two 20-inch pieces on the sides, and across the front it's 36 inches plus the miters. And it's only that big from this flat on down. So we'll give it a try here on the soft maple first, and then move to the cherry. So I'm cutting the dados here for the molding, and you can see I've got a piece of the molding pasted onto the edge here, and I've got a 1/4 inch dado set in here, and I'm making steps just close to, but not touching the various patterns that there are across here, so that will chop out the bulk of the material. So we'll turn it up here a hair and see. So I've got the two flats cut now, and I'm starting into the cove, so it'll be just a matter of stepping down through the cove. I've switched to a regular 1/8 inch blade for the last cut across here, and what I want to do is cut clear down to the edge of the bead here, and with a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch blade I would take out too much wood. So what I'm trying to do is expose the bead, so because I can't get in there too well without a side bead plane. So that's it. That's as far as I can go with the bead here. I'm just going to turn it over, cut it horizontally there, and take the front of the bead off, and then I'll be ready to do some planing. Well, I've set up my router table here with a beading bit that is a little bit larger than needs to be, so I'm not getting a full round on the bead, but I am cutting it out, and then I can round over the edges with a scratch stock, or maybe if I borrow Doug Molder's side beads. So the bead's on first here, and then I've got to cut the cove and the OG up here at the top. This is an attempt at making the crown molding. So what I'm doing now is I have a small round, and I'm making the beginning of an OG here on the side, and it has to be cut back to this line here, which is the flat at the top of the molding. So this is about a 1/4 inch. And it's running pretty good at the moment, as you can see. And as usual, you're getting more off here than here. But the paper pattern here helps. It would help if it was cut off. But it gives you an idea where the pattern is. There we are. So that's the beginning of it, and then the rest is here in the middle. So now I need the reverse. Well, it could take a little more off yet. I think I'm going to change to the hollow. We'll start with this one. Whoa. Well, I've got the OG on there now on the top. We'll zoom in. Oop. You can see it there, and then there's two flats following the OG. So now comes the cove. So I have my largest hand plane round out, and it's cutting pretty good here. It'll take a number of passes, but right now it's taken off the tops of all these steps that I build right in there. And we want it to come even. This fillet here is part of the curve, so that has to come out. It's coming. Well, I'm getting a little better at making this particular molding pattern with the hollows and rounds. As you can see, the pattern, as far as the paper goes on the side there, matches. So this would have been an acceptable piece of molding, except I ran over the bead again with the large round plane as I was making that cove there. So the bead is squished down, and I couldn't make it into the exact right size because there's not enough material left there. So I'm going to have to be very careful when I do the actual good pieces to stay the heck away from that bead. Well, Doug Mulder came over today and brought some of his hand planes. So what we have here are side rounds. So it's round on one side and flat on the others. So what we're capable of doing is creating a nice crisp line where the bead ends and the cove continues. So we played around with that a little bit this morning, and looks like that's going to work. If not, another thing that he brought with him was snipe bills. So that plane has just a small edge on it here, and it's usually used in the middle of a board when you want to start a bead in the middle. So you run a knife line down the middle of the board where you want to start the bead, and then you run a snipe spill. It'll follow the knife line and then eventually begin to work and create a bead. So we use that also, and there's a left on both the side rounds and the snipe spill. There's a left and a right because you can't obviously use it in two directions. So we're going to be using those to create the sharper, clean edge that there is along here. And what I did is I left a lot more material on where the bead will be, and that way it's kind of protected from errant planing by this the larger cove or round here. So I've gotten it down to pretty close, and I was working up here on the OG. So this is a round plane, and it's creating a cove here. And as usual, it takes a lot more off down there than it does in the beginning. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, but it's the side beads do the trick. So you can see the bead is on here now, and this is a side bead plane, so it's squared off on the edge here, and it just runs along the inside here. Takes a little bit off, but it doesn't bump the bead on the inside. So that's the deal. So we got a pretty good piece of crown molding here. So I think I'm done with practicing on the maple here. We've got a good looking profile. So it's time to start working on the cherry. And I need 3 straight pieces, 2 of them which are full size for the sides, and then 1 which is just the lower, the 2 flats and the cove here that make up the front molding. And then I'm gonna figure out how to make the pediments, which are goosenecks, but have the same profile as the side molding. So I think I'll make the 2 sides and the front out of cherry, and then we'll start on the goosenecks.